Okay, welcome everybody to this session of the Scripps Mastery. This is going to be a special one because it's immediately following some other topics that we've talked about that give us something like really specific for us to discuss together. Now, I have a couple of things I want to just discuss together and make sure that we're all like on the same page for this and what we're going to use this Scripps practice for. But first, I want to hear from you guys. What are your feelings right now about the 3 sessions we've had of Commission to Comfort? And I want you guys to tell me the things that you found helpful, and then things that you think were bad. If there were things that were bad about it, I want to hear what those things were. So where are you guys feeling right now? And my main question is, from day one, there were certain concerns or hurdles that we were looking to jump over, to now, do you feel like some of those hurdles are gone for you? Are there new tools that you have available to you that you didn't have before that give you more confidence to be sharing this model with other people? So let's hear it. Jump in and let us know.
Absolutely. I feel so much more confident having done the 3-part series and starting to just look at the T card. I have to say, I had a lot of those boxes checked. I was afraid to approach people. I wasn't exactly sure what to do. I think I knew what to do, but I didn't know how to do it. And now I think that through these 3 classes, I feel much more confident, but I am really looking forward to things like the Scripps practice to help me polish up so that I won't be nervous or as nervous and just start doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Anyone else?
Vicky here. I have some of the same sentiments, so I won't repeat that, but I'll add that as a new agent for just over a little bit of a year, I think people tell me I'm a pretty good speaker, but in the back of my mind, and they don't see the sweat rolling down my back either, but in the back of my mind, the story I was telling myself is, don't say too much because you're new at this. Always consult with, the pros, those who've been doing this for a while. So I did lack some of that confidence. Even though I'm a decent speaker, I wanted to speak to my level of knowledge without saying to a prospect, I'm new at this. And so I think I've gained through that 3-part series additional confidence. And it also helped me to hone in more, not completely, but more on what is my lane, what is my sphere of influence for real, not just a list of people, but for real, as well as I have tweaked my business strategy after each one of those meetings.
Yeah, cool. Very good. Thank you. Who's willing to admit that you're still feeling a little reluctant or lacking of confidence or not sure about exactly what the pathway forward looks like? Anyone?
I was going to chime in and say that your 3-part series really just kind of reminded me that by not inviting agents to EXP, we're leaving a huge chunk of opportunity on the table.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciated that part. And then just the way that you kind of broke down the easy way to make that happen. I appreciated that a great deal.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, where it came from really for me, obviously I know it's self-serving for me if everybody is an amazing recruiter, but really what kept me awake at night was, this is an amazing blessing for me. It's helped smooth out my income. Revenue share has been something that has really just made me feel more comfortable with my circumstances. And so I just couldn't feel like in good conscience, I couldn't say something to say, like, try to give everybody a little kick in the pants, and then also a bunch of tools on how to do it and just share with others what I have found to be successful. So, okay, with that as a foundation, I'll just mention here that scripts and role playing is something that most people, in my opinion, do it wrong. And I have attended a lot of trainings where there's role playing, and I've even attended, I even had some role playing stuff that we did when I was doing my MBA in negotiation classes. And even there, in at the University of Michigan, I felt like some of the role play was wrong because a lot of people go into it thinking what I'm trying to do is perfect my messaging. And I would agree that that is the final strategy. But the method to do that, what I do when I role play is I actually try stuff, and I try stuff that I think probably won't work, because it's a place where you can, like, if I'm role playing with Ursula and I try something and then I say, so how did that feel? And she's honest with me and she says, that would not have been compelling to me at all. Then I can know that I was right, that that wouldn't work. Now, it sounds counterintuitive, but the reason that's worked so well for me is because there's some stuff that I would not ever really want to say. It doesn't seem natural to me to say, but when I've role played it, I've gotten people, it's really resonated with other people. And in my agency CE class, the entire point of that class is that if we really care about other people, we will deliver the message to them in the way that they want to receive it, not the way we want to give it. And so I encourage you guys, in the role play today that we're going to do, we're not trying to make this be perfect. It is like, we are amongst our closest people. This has to be where it can be the absolute worst we do, and that it's okay, because we want to get those all out of the way now so that we're not practicing with clients. Now, the whole thing about scripts and the philosophy of having really good scripts, Joe's already done a really good job of explaining that. I don't want to rehash that stuff. But I did want to make kind of a quick mention here of the role play reasoning, and this is where we can just botch it. And it's almost like we want to, because you'll learn quickly by saying it the wrong way. It teaches me personally faster to try a bunch of ways that don't work. And then once I find the one that does, it's like, oh, that just becomes a part of me. It felt natural. It flowed. That's how I want to say it. Then I can go off by myself, practice, then come back to my partner that I'm doing the role play with, and then practice it with another human being. And that has seemed to work very good for me and made me be very, very comfortable. What I have said to people before is that I love mindset. I agree that mindset is paramount, but I have found that the thing that makes people that changes people's mindset the best is when they know they have the skills. It's not just believing in yourself, or not just telling yourself that it's going to happen. You start to tell yourself that you've got it when you actually have the skills. And so that's why I like to focus on those skills so much in my world personally. Okay, has anybody thought through, let me share my screen here. These right here are the 4 practice scenarios that I said we were going to practice today. Whoops. Has anybody thought through any of these 4 things?
Cody, yeah, you are Cody, right? I had passion around number 2.
Number 2, okay. Very good. So this was actually, I'm glad you said it that way, because this is something that I wanted to bring up. Let's come back to number 2. Let's look at number 1 for a second. We have this really cool summit, the Accelerate Summit, that's happening on September 30th, which is coming up pretty quick here now. It's just a little over a week away. If you feel like that will be a good event for agents, then it will be a lot easier for you to invite agents to come to that event. So for me, step 1 in inviting is thinking through the value proposition before I make the invitation. Because if you don't feel like that value proposition is really there, then when you make the invitation, people are going to sniff that out. It won't be genuine, and you'd be better off. I'm not saying you shouldn't try, but you'd be better off focusing on the things that you do have the most passion about. So is there anybody who would want to kind of role play with me, let's say, And B, who's going to invite me to the Brent Gove event on September 30?
Hey, Cody, I have a question.
Yeah.
So this particular one, I'm sold on Brent Gove. I love hearing him speak. And when I was looking at this today, I know a handful of local agents I'd love to invite who I've had conversations that I've probably stumbled over, which is why I've not gotten them interested in. And you and I've talked about that. So what is your feeling around, like, how do you present why this is such an inspiring and great event, regardless of what agency you're at? Like,
Okay.
that's my pause, because I'm sold on Brent Gove. I think that's going to be a great event. I'm already signed up. And I would love for other people that are in our community to hear him and get inspired as well.
Okay. Well, so you, in the question, you answered the question as far as I'm concerned. What about it is it, what about Brent Gove and his presentations in the past that you've seen? What about that makes you feel inspired to say what you just said about that?
You know, he is very relatable. You know, he is very down to earth, and he comes from a lot of experience. And I think what appeals most to me about him is just how relatable he is. I think he's a nice guy, and he gives you these nuggets of wisdom that I have found very inspiring. And I think everyone could benefit from. So, and I don't know him very well, but I'm a big fan. So.
Okay. So another way of saying what you just said, tell me if I'm right, is that when you've listened to him speak, he's inspired you to be a better agent. You feel like he actually genuinely cares about your success as an agent. And you're really glad that you've had the opportunity because you feel like that's actually made you better at your craft.
For sure.
Okay. So what we just demonstrated is the first step before the inviting part of it. The first step is, don't worry about how to invite people. Worry about what is it that you think is of value to them. That is the first important thing, because if you get too hung up on the, did I say the if I, and did I work in the would you, and all, like, that is only just a tool to be used. But in my conversations, I'm not saying to myself, I failed on the if I would you because I didn't get 3 of those in, but I've got the person super solid committed to coming and they're already coming to this event, right? It's the objective is to get them to come to the event. And the reason that you want them to come to the event is the fact that you want to introduce them to synergy is secondary. Primary is you want to introduce them to something that's really good.
For sure.
Okay. So Ursula, you're going to hate me, but how would you invite me to this?
Cody, there is an amazing presentation, and I've already botched that up, but a meeting of realtors, and the guest speaker is Brent Gove. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him, but he's an agent of lots of experience. He's very personable, and I've had the benefit of hearing him a couple of times, and he's just very inspiring. And I know he has helped me become a better agent. If I was able to get you on the list, would you be able to attend?
Okay, I thought that was really good. Let's have other people here that were listening. What about this resonated with you? What was the part of it? Because she gave a few different things. What was the part of it that impacted you the most as somebody being invited to come to the session?
One of the things that I appreciated was, first of all, we've got 3 speakers, but she has personal experience with Brent. And so she was able to speak from her personal experience, and she focused in on why he was so valuable to her. And then I appreciated the if I would you.
Okay. Anybody else? What part about that resonated the most with you, or you felt like had the most impact to pique your curiosity?
How it made her a better agent, I would ask her. if she told me that, I'd be like, oh yeah, how's that?
Yeah. Did you guys notice how Ursula was a little bit unsure? She even stopped to say, oh, I screwed that up. And she was a little bit like that until she got to the part of, I've had the opportunity to see him present before, and boom, it was right there. Like that. That's the part where the entire energy and the whole thing changed. Okay.
For
So
sure.
if I knowing that, Ursula, if I were in your shoes, inviting another agent to it, I would say, I've thought about the things that have helped me the most in my real estate career. And yeah, there's lots of things. But one of the things that's had a really big impact on me was this one particular speaker. I've had the opportunity to hear him present before, and he's not from Vegas. He's coming in from out of town. And he's actually bringing also some other people who I haven't heard speak, but I've heard are just as good and dynamic as he is. And so they're holding a conference, and I don't go to lots of these, but when I have an opportunity to go to one like this is one I'm definitely going to be going to. Okay, so now there's lots of value there, right? And there's some curiosity there. And so that leads really easily to, I mean, you almost don't have to invite. Remember the one of tell them about the event with no intent to invite.
Right.
Right. So you have the intent to invite, but that's coming eventually. In the beginning, you're just telling them about it, which creates the curiosity. Now you can, if you're saying those things and the person is like, checking their nails or whatever, like, okay, like maybe that's not somebody I'm going to even invite, to be honest. Like I might wait to see if it piques their curiosity. And if I say those things and they're like, really, yeah, I've never heard of this person, and I'm sort of leaning into this idea, then it's easy to say, if I would you. And Brent, just so you guys all know, Brent has agreed to do kind of like a VIP meet and greet afterwards. And so one of the things that's working well for me, I have about 12 people that have committed to go. And one of the things that's working for me is that I say, because I have a relationship with this guy previously, I can actually get you a little bit of VIP access. Even after he presents, I'll make sure that you get to meet him personally, and you can actually build the relationship with him too. So if I were able to do that, Ursula, would that be interesting to you? Would you want to attend that event with me? And then, yes,
Say
I would,
absolutely.
and then we go. So I say, okay, I'm going to check on that. I'm going to check into that and see if I can do that. If I call you back tomorrow, would you be watching for my call and be sure to take my call so I can like tell you, yep, I got your spot pinned down?
Absolutely.
So there's a second commitment to it that makes it be important. Okay, assuming that I can get you this, if I can deliver on what I'm saying, what I'd like to do, because it's important enough to me, is I'd like to be in touch with you a few days before just to confirm that you're coming. So if I reach out to you a few days before, would you also be watching for that call so that I can be sure that you're going to be there, and I can let Brent know that I have somebody that I really want to introduce him to?
Sure. Sounds good to me.
So Ursula's chances, her probability of going is going to be way higher because of those 3 commitments that she just made to me. So I see Dave Reichert's hand up. Did you mean to raise your hand, Dave?
Yes, of course.
Okay. What's up?
So I always, I role play multiple times a week. So I always look for what's the icebreaker, right? We're into the meat and potatoes, but for me, not having, done recruiting without recruiting, inviting without inviting, I'm always thinking of what's the icebreaker. So for this one, if I could share my thought, maybe you guys can give me some feedback on is, hey, Cody, congrats on, you're still in the business. I know we lost a lot of folks, man. I'm glad to see you there. What are you doing to increase your business and stay in the business right now?
Love it. Yeah.
Dave, you read my mind. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, how do I start this conversation?
Yeah, you got to start at the beginning, right? And that to me, I think I don't remember what the other ones are, but for this event specifically, it's like you're not going there to, you could go there to get motivated, but the reality is everything I'm doing right now, and it's me kind of reflecting on everything else, but I'm trying to figure out how I increase and just maintain my business. So I think that would be a good icebreaker after the howdy, hey, how are you?
Yeah, if you're feeling it, they're feeling it, right? Or something similar to that. If you're feeling a changing market, they're feeling a changing market. If you're feeling a short supply, they're feeling a short supply. If you're feeling, a huge demand run up, they're feeling a huge demand run up. So you can definitely, it's almost like we're in this thing together kind of a way to start off there.
Yeah, and that's kind of how we operate as a baseline. So it's not fake.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. Let's see. I am going to create some breakout rooms. And let's see if this puts us into rooms. So what we're going to do is we're going to let it just assign people at random, and we're going to role play. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the breakout room and don't worry about doing the 3 if I would use. Let's practice the icebreaker, like Dave just mentioned, the leading up to the value of it. And then let's practice the first if I would you, and then we'll switch. And the other person has to try to do something another way. And remember, if you want it to be something that won't work, then try it. Right? I mean, I might try that with whoever I've got, because I've thought of ways that I think will work. I want to try to throw a few monkey wrenches in it. All right, so let me see if I can do this. All right, did you guys get a notice to go into a breakout room?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
everyone go into your room. All right. You guys came back early.
Mhm.
The breakout rooms close in 17 seconds and you guys are back early. So you get the gold star. You guys you're the overachievers of getting through it faster.
Cody, I was just trying to see, I feel like I know how to invite people, but I'm asking them to come support me, so it's like them doing me a favor, but I don't know how to invite them as uh me doing a favor for them.
Hmm. Yeah, so that would be a good thing for you to think through and be ready to practice because you can only ride that horse so far of people doing something for you. Dave.
My buddy Joe has a great saying. Hi, Yvonne. My buddy Joe has a great saying, and he's got a bunch of them, but this is one of my favorite ones. The difference between manipulation and oh my gosh, influence. Influence and manipulation is intent, right? So if you're struggling for a way to make it about them and you're not feeling it, you haven't made it about them long enough. We were just talking about this, Ursula and I think you can get to the part of inviting without inviting if you take more time to really just make the conversation about them and organically let it come back to you as, oh, you know what, we've been talking about me so long, what are you doing? And then you can just say, oh, well, bleh, and then you invite without inviting. But yeah, if you're, because everybody, not just you, Yvonne, everybody here at some level is struggling with how do I do this without being salesy? And as long as you make the beginning and middle and 3/4 of the end about them, it won't feel salesy to either one of you, because one, you'll have enough information about the person you're talking to feel comfortable saying, okay, this part of what I can talk about this conference or whatever it is that you're going to sell them is what they need to hear. And as long as you have that in your pocket, then it's not going to feel salesy and you actually are benefiting them because you're filling a need that they've expressed to you that they have, whether they say it out loud or you pick it out of the conversation.
What I have found is a lot of what you guys are describing, these feelings of reluctance inside of you. Whenever I have felt those, it's because I don't really know the other agent or their circumstances well enough to feel comfortable.
Bingo.
So there's two ways to overcome that. One is to say, I want to know more about you. Like, I need to know your backstory, and ask them the questions like Dave's describing that lets them know. Sometimes you'll find that you want to invite them, but you don't really have that opportunity. Like you've just met them that day. Like let's say you go to a CE class, you've just met them that day, and you're going to basically part ways, and you know that this event is happening before you're going to have time to build a really strong relationship with them. In that case, what I do is I address it head on. My method has always been to address it head on. And so I say, like, what I would say is I'd say, you know, Katie, it's been really cool getting to know you today in this CE class. And I normally don't invite other people to stuff that I'm interested in until I know them a little bit better. But I just know I don't have the time to like build a relationship with you like I normally would. But I know that what I do, the little I do know about you, I just sense that this would be something that you would really dig. Like you would really find this cool. And I might be wrong, but let me just tell you a little bit about it. And you tell me, right? And now like that will also tell you who they are, how they operate, what makes them tick, what's important to them, all those things that you would need to be doing over the course of the long run anyway. Remember what we established in the Commission to Comfort series is that this is going to take many iterations of interaction with these agents before they're going to ever have any interest in hearing what you have to say about anything, right? And so how long are you willing to let it take? I asked that question. That is not a rhetorical question. That's something you need to decide for yourself. For me, I'm willing to, if it takes me 100 interactions with an agent before I feel comfortable inviting them to something, I'm willing to let it be 100. If it gets to 101, I'll say I'm going to put them on the back burner and I'm not going to include them anymore. So they could tell me no 99 times. I'm going to try the 100th time. And it's not even they're telling me no. It's just that I've interacted with them enough that I still don't feel like it's ready to invite them. I'm still going to try on the 100th time. Like that's the limit I've given to myself. But maybe everybody doesn't have that same limit. Maybe some people have more, maybe some people have less. To me, it's just easy to say 100. So I can keep a quick little mental note of that. If Ursula won't give me the time of day or sound interested in what I have to say for 99 interactions, then she's probably not my people. 99 tries, it's probably
It took two.
Yeah, okay, very good. Okay, so I want to commit everybody here to something. And we're going to practice one more scenario, and then that's all the time we're going to have today. So out of 150 Synergy agents, you guys have made it through the Commission to Comfort series and have actually come to where the rubber meets the road. And there's 9 of us total out of 150. So I want you all to realize that you are the ones that you should feel proud of yourself, that you are the ones that are taking this serious enough to be here participating in it. Because you will not get good at inviting people until you practice it. It just doesn't just happen because it just happens. And so I want to commit all of you to find another person and set an appointment sometime in the next 2 weeks to get together and make it be where you're going to meet for only 1 hour or less. And you're going to pick a scenario, you're going to role play with each other, and you're going to be honest with each other about the parts that you liked the most and the parts that were the weakest, so that you can strengthen the weak parts. Okay. And you have not fulfilled the commitment unless you text me and say, I've chosen this person, they've agreed to do this with me, and this is the date we have scheduled to do the role play. All right, so if you are willing to commit to it, raise your hand and commit it. Is there anybody who's not? And if you're not, that's fine. I want to know. Oh, Steve was in the waiting room. Okay.
Oops, I'm not on mute. I probably should have laughed that hard.
Now that Steve's back, thank you, Steve, for committing to that. We really appreciate that you did. It'll be wonderful to hear
And
you.
the best part is he's going to deliver it, man. That's awesome.
What did I commit to?
Sorry, I didn't notice you were in the waiting room. So we all just committed that sometime in the next 2 weeks, we're going to pick one other person to do a 1 hour or less. It's got to be 1 hour or less role play session with, where we will pick some scenarios and practice with each other one-on-one. And it'd be way better if it's in person, but it could be by Zoom or phone, but it would be way better if it's in person. So everybody committed to that. Steve, are you also willing to commit?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you
Great.
have not fulfilled the commitment until you text me and tell me that you've done it. Okay, that's part of it. Now, if I commit to be watching for that and maybe even see if I could join you guys or call you afterwards to see how it went, will you be sure to let me know when that's happening so that I can be aware of it? All right, thank you guys. All right, let's do one more. Let's do the iHeart EXP Day of Service, because this one is also fast approaching, October 10. And this one was one that is completely, I mean, if you don't have the guts to invite to this, you'll never have the guts to invite to anything, because this one is like easy to invite to. Abena, you have your hand up still. Was that from committing, or you got a comment?
I'm committed. Sorry.
Okay, she was just still that committed. She's raised her hand still, so I appreciate that. Okay, what is step one of wanting to invite somebody to an event? What's the first step?
Icebreaker.
Okay, before the icebreaker, before you talk to them.
Have passion around what you're inviting them to.
Okay, so what's the value of it for them? Yeah, right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it here. Why, Abena, do you think that this is something that you said it resonates with you or something like that? Why does this one feel easier to you to invite to? What about the event is it that has value?
It's something that I believe in, giving back to the community in whatever way that I can. And I tend to be in circles of people just like that.
Okay. All right. Who else?
Oh, and it gives me boasting rights on the fun stuff that our brokerage does.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good to work that in. Ursula can attest to the fact that these things are a lot of work. She's running point for us this year on this event, and it's a lot of work. And so that's not just any group that will do that. When I go over the calendar every year and I look at what we do as Synergy, it is crazy amount of stuff we're doing, way more than any other brokerage, I'm sure about that. So, okay, anybody else want to throw in here? What about this day of service thing? What is the value to another agent of that? So like there's this altruistic reason. Is there any other value to it?
Feeling a sense of community.
Yeah, love that, especially since we call ourselves Synergy Community and we can give back to our own community. Okay. What would you guys want to know about the event beforehand, before you're inviting other people to come to it? So this is another part of the value of it, all right? Like you got to know what it really is. You got to research what it really is. Somebody started to say something.
I did. I was thinking it's important to know, how do they register or sign up or make a time slot, usually for a blood drive. I haven't gotten that far on it yet to register myself, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when I was a little kid, my dad used to tell me, I mean, I'm telling you, I think I was like, these are some of my earliest memories. My dad would say to me, when you're selling somebody on something, when you've made the sale, shut up and get out. Right? Because he said, all you can do then is ruin it. So because he did a lot of selling, and he would say, once I convinced somebody and made the sale, I'll build the relationship again later. But if I've convinced them of that thing now, shut up and get out. And I obviously don't forget that, because while the neurons were literally forming in my brain, he was putting that training into me about how to sell. So you don't want to say, hey, you should come to this great day of service. And then somebody says, I'd love to come. And then you go and fumble it all over the ground because you don't even know how they actually participate in it. So you got to know what that is. We got to know also that who it's benefiting. So if you look at the Eventbrite we've put together, the information is there. there's a certain charity, and if you follow the path to that charity and what they're all about, they have statistics and information and everything that will tell you about what the real need is for the peanut butter and the donating blood. Okay, so if you can't donate blood, because some people can't, good, there's a great alternative to that. They could come help with the blood drive, they could donate the peanut butter or whatever. All right, so we're gonna take 5 minutes, split into these breakout rooms. Do just the icebreaker part that leads you up to the if I would you, and then switch so that each person gets to do it. You only get a couple of minutes each. We'll come back for like 30 seconds and we'll wrap right on the hour. You should have an invitation to go to a breakout room.
Yvonne. Yvonne Ko. Hello. Yvonne, can you hear me? Hello. Yvonne? Yvonne, are you there? Yvonne?
Steve, you calling me? Steve? Steve? Steve?
My computer's gotten so chunky. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Must,
I've lost my video.
yeah, you need me to get you an internet provider or something.
I need a IT guy, that's for sure.
I'm gonna put you in room 1, okay, with Erica. Is that where you were?
I was with Yvonne, but she couldn't hear me, and so I went back out and came back in again.
Okay.
She looked like she wasn't assigned either. She was just driving along.
Okay, I'll see if I can get her assigned. I just gave you an invitation to go in. everybody should be coming back in here shortly.
For that thing on the 30th, it is my birthday. I'm gonna be in Laughlin, and I was thinking, could I actually like try to leave here on the day, but I'm gonna be staying the night there the night before my birthday.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to go, but could I like tell somebody I have a ticket
Yeah.
to this really awesome event, and then say I hate for it to go to waste because this is incredible. Would you be interested in,
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can just tell them, hey, when you get there, and I want to connect you with somebody who I know is going to be there, and then pick me or Katie or whomever, who is somebody that you know and trust that's going to be there that can kind of VIP them.
All right, cool. Because I just met an agent the other day who was super sweet. He was showing a house in my neighborhood, and I know I didn't list it, but yeah. So I think I'll invite him because he was really cool and he wanted to exchange information. So
Okay, we're going to wrap this up so that we finish on time. Thank you guys for being here today. Hopefully that you found some of these things helpful. Remember that there's some steps before you want to invite somebody. Even if you have to invite somebody on the spot, you think of some ways that you can get past the fact that you don't know them very well. Practice those things. I expect a text from each one of you telling me that you follow through on your commitment, and get somebody to the Brent Gove event. I right now have 12. My goal is 20. Don't let me outperform you by 20-1. Okay. Get a person or two to the event, because you never have to ask them to do another thing again, but they're probably going to really like what they hear there. That's a very safe invitation to make.
Yeah.
Cool
All right,
beans.
guys, thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Cody.
Cody.
Great job, Cody.